Hello Capricorn, and welcome to Looking Glass Letterbox. I am Erica, and this is your July 2019 general reading for Capricorn Sun, Moon, and Rising. So this may not resonate with everyone out there, but hopefully there's something here you can take with you to consider and think about as we get into summer. If you have not yet seen your June overview or your June general readings, those were posted earlier in the month. You can check those out. And also, if you haven't checked out your yearly overview that I posted in March, those are I have a playlist of that on my main YouTube page if you wanted to check out your yearly overview, which I did based on a Fool's Journey spread, which was really fun and interesting to do. So check that out. If you'd like to get a personal video reading from me, I've listed some information in the description box. You can check there. Or if you have questions or anything, you can contact me at looking.glass.letterbox@gmail.com. Okay, and let's get started for July. Informing your reading today at the bottom of the deck, we have Judgment. Okay, so this is a reckoning, a leveling up, a reconciliation of your past and who you've been, and who you'd like to be, and what you're going to move into next. It's about forgiveness and allowing yourself to forgive things that you haven't been able to let go of, so that you can move further forward, so that you can improve, so that you can evolve and develop into the next level of existence that you'd like to reach. So it's also about being honest and seeking the truth within that forgiveness. So like erasing or removing blame for yourself or for your others, removing excuses. So whatever the truth is, whatever it is that you don't want to acknowledge or face because you feel for some reason ashamed of it, or it makes you feel insecure or vulnerable, just look at it, take it out and look at it for what it is, and then let it go. You don't have to be ashamed of it. You can just release it, let it go, and stop allowing that to affect your story and your actions and your ambitions as you would like to move forward. Once you release that anchor that's been weighing you down and holding you in place because of those negative connotations, shame and insecurity and that sort of thing. Once you release that, then you'll rise up like the bird here. Rise up in resplendent light and be in a position to be capable of all of those amazing things that you are absolutely capable of accomplishing and achieving and being a part of. Okay, so don't let pettiness or fear weigh you down. Let it fall away from you, and allow the relief of that and the release of that to allow you to rise further upward, or and expand outward. So your oracle card from the Animal Spirit deck is the Golden Egg, definitely in alignment with Judgment here, because this is about the unstruck sound, about the absolute truth that you know within yourself is true, not a negative judgment of yourself of what you're afraid is true, or the label that you've put on your failure that you don't want to acknowledge or see. But what is it within yourself that rings true for you? What is it that you want to be a part of? What is it that you want to seek out? What is it? Who is it that you really are? Who is it that you really want to be? So this is the message at the center of your heart, the unstruck sound. It's precious, it's resounding, it's can't be heard or discerned until you retreat from the noise of modern day life and all of those labels and judgments that society of the modern day life that you're living within seems to assign different attributes of personality. Stepping away from all of that and quieting down, deciding what you believe is true, what you want, where you're going to go, and what you know to be resonant for you. There's no pushing, no rushing, no grasping. It's a restful ease. Okay, you don't have to quickly ascertain what this is. You find a quiet and still space and take an adequate amount of time for introspection and contemplation. So when your mind begins to settle and your breath is calm, ask the questions that weigh heaviest on your heart. Stay open to any response you hear. Engage, with that dialogue, and whatever that initial response to you is, question that. Ask, okay, well, why is that my first response? And do I think that that response is true? And do that until you reach a level of awareness of what you really know and what you really feel to be true in your bones. So this is becoming intimate with and comfortable with your vulnerability. So be tender toward yourself. Feel gratitude for all of the blessings that you've received and earned, and all of the blessings that you've shared with other people. Allow gratitude to rise up within you. And then when that seems to radiate outward from you, and you start to, feeling more replenished, and more nurtured, then you know that you're what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. Then you know that you're on the right track, that you're on your way forward, that you've connected to that inner truth that's going to help guide you and help to lead you further forward and allow you to expand and grow. Okay? And that's definitely works in tandem with the Judgment card, the forgiveness. Forgive yourself for being vulnerable. Forgive yourself for those things that you feel, that you personally feel ashamed of. If you saw the things that you're ashamed of in any person outside of yourself, the chances are is that you would understand and you wouldn't place any harsh judgment on them. But humans are their own worst critics, and we are harder on ourselves than we are on anyone else that we know in our lives. So apply that forgiveness and understanding, and touch upon that vulnerability within yourself. And that's going to serve you well going into the future. Okay, this is the current set of circumstance or frame of mind to consider for July in Cancer season. So the end of June and the first half or so of July. And that is the 9 of Wands. So that's a point of fruition. It is Wands, so it's your actions. You've been doing some work. You've been getting stuff done. You've been invested and engaged in bringing something about and making something happen. All right, but the work isn't complete yet. It's not complete. You've come a long way, but there's a little bit farther to go to get to that state of completion and to arrive at that goal that you've set. Okay, so you might be a little bit tired, a little bit worn out. Again, remember, take time to sit still and breathe and touch base with yourself and contemplate or meditate on those things that replenish you and those things that are going to allow for healing and recovery, and then further fortify you for future action. Okay, this is sort of what's happening right now as this post goes out. So this is what's happening in mid-June, the beginning of June and mid-June. So this is what will just be passing out of influence in July. And that is the Son of Swords. All right, so you've been taking swift action, swift thought, possibly reaction, targeted focus. The Son of Swords is about action. Swords are about our thoughts and our intellect and our perspective, perception, and the story that we attach to those things. The warning that comes with this card is just do a quick check that if you swoop in and respond as swiftly as you'd like to, that you don't do any collateral damage, that there's not something on the periphery that you're missing or something on the periphery that may be harmed needlessly, just because you didn't take that extra second to check the perimeter before you swooped in your own defense. This isn't a negative card, it's a positive card. The only concern is reaction that's too swift may do damage to something that went unnoticed. Okay, and then this is going to be what's coming into influence in July. So the end of July and the beginning of August. This is what to consider as coming into influence. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering a little bit over the readings today. So 7 of Cups. So cups are emotions and relationships, emotional responses, and interaction with the things that we do. 7 is about having faith and taking command in order to direct things and situations and your perspective and your feelings and your actions, to direct them in on the course that you would like them to follow. The 7 of Cups is about choices. Sometimes it's confusing because there are many choices. So when you're in a 7 of Cups space, it's important to take a look at all of the options in front of you. Recognize which ones are illusions or fantasy versions of what your actual goal is. And which ones are, practical and doable and actionable to you at the moment. Which ones take a long game investment, which ones are going to have a quick return, which one looks like what you want, but when you look a little bit closer, it's not actually anything like you want, and which one doesn't seem like the one that you want, but upon closer inspection is more in alignment with exactly how you would like things to go. Okay, so at the end of July, you're going to have some options to consider. And again, with the golden egg and judgment, with your inner, the unstruck sound and forgiveness, use that information. And when you're enlightened on those points, after you take time to review that, then consider all of these options that are in front of you. And then that intuition and that knowing of what you are solid on, what your goals are, and what your ethics are, and what your intentions are, and what you're willing to do to progress further to this level of establishment, you'll be more assured that you're making the right decision for you. All right, but take your time to consider those options. Let's get a little bit more information on some of these cards here. And what is the Son of Swords? A little bit more information about this swift decision or quick communication. Okay, so that's you, Capricorn, the Devil card. So let's see. So with this, it could be you representing yourself. So you may be reacting out of self-defense. You may feel threatened. You may feel like you may be exposed for some reason that you would prefer not to be. So you may be feeling self-conscious or have a negative reaction to some kind of communication that's going to inspire this swift move of defense. So, or it also may represent the things that weigh you down, the things that you feel changed, the things that you haven't forgiven yet, the things that you haven't looked at yet. So it may be being in a position of self-denial or addiction, negativity, or materialism. It can indicate, it can indicate an ugly relationship with a person or a substance. So if this isn't just representing you personally, if it is in those other aspects, it may be that the relationship that is not well with you is the relationship with yourself, is your level of self-acceptance and self-care and self-appreciation and those sorts of things. So with forgiveness and the golden egg, it's really time to look at yourself as you are and stop looking at yourself, looking down upon yourself. And also don't build up like a false, like bluster yourself up with false ego, with things that you say and pretend are true, but you don't really feel are true. Take an honest look at yourself and ask all of the important questions. Who are you? What would you like to be like? What is it that you think about the world that's surrounding you? What would you like to change? What would you like to support? All of those important questions that are going to establish how you carry forward. And right under judgment is vulnerability and creative expression with the Daughter of Cups. So this is a message of creativity, emotional significance, and emotional vulnerability as well, emotional sensitivity. All right, so with the Son of Swords, the reaction that you're going to have, the answer to that, or a good step forward for that defense is to check in with yourself and acknowledge those things, those negative things that you've thought about yourself, and reassess what it is that you believe about yourself if this is resonating for you. Again, this isn't for all of you. This is pretty specific, so this may just be for a few of you out there. But hopefully, just considering that particular thought will assist anyone who listens to this. All right, and let's clarify this Nine of Wands. Oops, and Nine of Wands. Okay, so yeah, you've been working hard. You've been dealing with a lot of stuff, a lot of actions, a lot of energy, a lot of building, a lot of effort and energy, extended outward into the world in order to achieve a specific goal. So very, very steadfast and tenacious and moving forward. So again, in July, you're getting to that point of fruition where you can take a breath, but there's still a little bit further to go. And let's see what an option that may present itself to you. 10 of Pentacles. So that is the option of fulfillment, of establishment, of investment in the community, and stable, solid, real world. 10 of Discs. Discs is earthly realm, so it's material, it's practical, it's home, work, money, family, the establishment of a successful endeavor. Okay, so this is beyond the four. This isn't just stability. This is the establishment of working systems that support more than just yourself, but support the community that you exist within as well. All right, so this is a very abundant and fulfilling card. And so the choice that may present itself in the emotional sphere, because again, this is Cups, is going to be with your emotional understanding, because at the bottom of the deck, you have the Queen of Cups influencing all of that. And the Queen of Cups is about knowing and understanding your own emotions and considering the emotions of those around you, being sensitive to them, but not being dictated by them, not allowing other people's emotions to influence a choice that you don't want to make, but tapping in, acknowledging their emotions, taking it into consideration. But if it doesn't ring true for you, taking the time to consider what option is going to provide that establishment and success and fulfillment to this endeavor that you've been working on so hard. So it seems like this choice is going to be very much based on an emotional, with emotional resonance. So just make sure that you touch base with yourself, and instead of just swiftly reacting and picking one that is influenced by how someone else feels, take the time to consider how you personally, individually feel after you release all of that negativity or feelings of shame or unworthiness or vulnerability. You may have to make the choice that's going to expose that vulnerability. There's no, courage or achievement that is significant that you can make that doesn't involve risk, and the risk of being exposed and the risk of failure. So that may be something that is really concerning you and why you've been working so hard and you haven't reached that point of completion yet, or it's going to come up when you make this choice. And you're going to be more confident and more able to handle whatever outcome is presented to you, whether it be success or failure, if you touch in with the golden egg and judgment, and are in a place of confidence within your vulnerability. That seems like a contradiction in terms, but being confident that regardless of the outcome, you'll still carry on and carry forward. Okay? That is all that I have for you today, Capricorn. I hope you have an amazing July. And again, if you'd like to contact me, you can do that at looking.glass.letterbox, and I will talk to you next time.